let's talk about markets themselves. We're seeing a bit of a turnaround take place, certainly with regards to Indian markets. And some of this has been put down to perhaps more clarity, as people are suggesting, as to whether Narendra Modi can hold on to power. And it does seem as though he is looking more likely to do so. What's your view on this?
I think it's a confluence of two or three factors. Last year, 2018, Indian rupee was one of the worst performing currencies. Indian stock markets were one of the worst performing markets. And a liquidity crisis. And on top of that, in India, Pakistan, uncertainty, strike and a counter strike. So, and now with that strike seems to be settled for now, the rupee has rallied from an oversold position, and the market therefore is now reading into a stable government coming into power, which means less uncertainty for corporate India, which is a good thing. And we probably see this rally continuing into the next few weeks.
Chakri, it's Juliet here in Singapore, and to that point, with this expectation that Modi is going to form government, there's also been a lot of foreign inflows. I have a chart on my terminal essentially showing how that has boosted not only stocks but the rupee that you were alluding to there. Do you think this continues, this massive amount of foreign investment?
If you look at last year, the rupee had fallen about 10%. And therefore, the foreign investors, the FII invested, had a rupee loss on top of the underlying stock market falls. Now, the rupee fiscal deficits in this country have been expanding, have been worsening. But now there is greater clarity that, at least the banking crisis has peaked and things should ease from now. So against this backdrop, there is a chance that the rupee would stabilize and earnings will recover. So on back of this oversold positions, the broader market in India had fallen about 25 to 30% in 2018, and even the leading indices was largely flat to down. So against this backdrop, you've seen FI inflows coming into an oversold market, which is likely to continue because India is still underperforming its other markets, both its regional peers as well as other emerging markets.
Which particular sectors or stocks do you see value? Because I understand you also think that there's going to be some earnings downgrades for a lot of companies in India.
I think if you look at FY19, the financial year ending in March, we are very likely to see further earnings downgrades. Earnings for corporate India will probably end up about 7-8%, not more. Now, against this backdrop, now that you have an election in a month or two, and after that, there's at least some amount of whichever government comes into power, at least corporate India can heave a sense of relief that there's no further uncertainty whichever government comes to power. And therefore, a pickup in corporate earnings in 2020 for FY20 and probably about 15-18%, which would be one of the highest numbers that you would see across Asia. On back of that, the market is looking okay to see a further rally up.